I want to cut across to Sonal Mansingh, who joins us on the broadcast. Ma'am, many thanks for joining us. Today, I want to ask you, not as a member of parliament, but as an accomplished Odissi and Bharatnatyam dancer. Ma'am, is our history, our culture and our tradition, are they also not passed orally from one generation to another? Is that not how our civilizational knowledge and history has been passed for centuries?
We call them Shruti, that is what is heard, and Smruti, that means memory. So through these two, these are the words, expressions that have been used ever since the Vedic times. And the Vedas initially were imprinted on the minds of the buttocks of the students, the disciples, and they had to memorize what they heard. So that is the kind of tradition that came down to us along with the latter day, centuries ago, of course, millennia ago, when things began to be written. As you said, dancer, let's not say Odissi and Bharatanatyam, but as an Indian classical dancer or Indian dancer. In my time, we were not allowed to write. I have learnt in the Guru Shishya Parampara, and I remember till today almost 200, 250 songs, shloks, bhajans, padas, kirtans, choreographies, and also so many other subhashits and so many things. So this is of course an ongoing tradition in the Sanatana India, the perennial, the Shashvat, the eternal India.
What do you then make of this controversy that there is no documentation, that the scepter or the Sengol was handed over to Lord Mountbatten, taken, cleansed and then handed over to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru? The Congress says there is no documentation. This is WhatsApp University knowledge.
I think I've seen in the past 3-4 days, ever since the Sengol word has become so conspicuous and symbolic, let's say, I have seen the photographs of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru accepting the Sengol, also the Ganga Jal Chidakna and some puja. I wish I knew. I would have produced those photos from some newspapers and even the television videos. I think the historians, the people can do their research.
No, we have those pictures playing out on television right now, ma'am.
All this cannot be said. So there is documentation. There is documentation. It's a matter of research by these people who are saying there is no documentation.
Okay. What would you say to those who say that in a democracy, should there be a Raj Dand in the temple of democracy? After all, there are no kings today, and some argue, is this an overt move towards a Hindu Rashtra?
I'm sorry, I just chuckle because it's like Baal ki khal utarna. Raj Dand or Dharma Dand applies to every government, every ruler, ruling party. Even in democracy there is a government of a particular coalition or of a particular party. It is all about governance, the just governance, Nishtha, Satya, Vachan. So these are Nyay, some of these words which are applicable all the time through generations to every government. So that these are the part of the what shall I say, sutra of governance. And governance, whether it be monarchy, whether democracy, governance is there. That's the key word, how you rule a country or how you deal with a country.
Okay. And had the history of this Sengol, had the history of this Sengol not been looked at so closely now, would future generations have looked at that holy scepter perhaps as a golden walking stick presented to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and kept in the museum of Anand Bhavan? And would that have been grave injustice to our history, to our culture and to our traditions?
I agree with you, Gauravji, I agree with you. It would have been grave injustice. By the way, it was not given to Pandit Nehru as an individual. It was handed over to Pandit Nehru as the first Prime Minister of India, independent India. So it was a government property and it should have been rightly brought to the Parliament. Instead, it was taken away to Anand Bhavan, their personal property in Prayagraj, now Allahabad, and then later on shifted to the museum. So I think finally in the 75th year of independence, Azadi ka Amrit Kaal shuru hua hai, in that the Rajdand, the Dharmadand, the Sengol has found its rightful place in the Lok Sabha right above the Speaker. And I am looking forward so much day after tomorrow to go there and bow my head and offer my namaskars.
I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. Sonal, Mansingh ji, as always, many thanks for joining me here on India Today.